Are we having a boy or a girl? Hi, and welcome back. I'm Kamika, and this is Well Balanced Wallet, where I help you create healthy money habits and live a life that you love on your current budget. In today's video, we're going to continue through the journey of my pregnancy. I think in the last video, I ended it talking about how it didn't feel real until about 8 weeks. We had our first ultrasound at 7 weeks, and then around 8 weeks, when the baby was the size of a blueberry, that's when it became real to me. So it didn't even feel real to me when we actually went to the doctor and saw the little bean on the screen. Okay, so in between the first ultrasound and our second ultrasound, which was at 12 weeks, we found out the gender. I found out the gender a little bit early because, as I mentioned, we did go through fertility treatments in order to conceive. So with that comes a lot of genetic testing before and after you find out that you're pregnant. So I did find out the gender before 12 weeks. And my brother was so excited that we are going to have babies that are the same age, and he wanted to do the gender reveal for me. So I told him I didn't want to have like an actual gender reveal where you invite people and you pop the little thing that's pink or blue. I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be intimate with just me and my husband, and I just wanted to find out at my house. So when I got the email with my genetic test results, I immediately sent it to my brother so that he could look at the email and do whatever he decided to do for the gender reveal. And he actually picked a really cute cake from a bakery not too far from my house, and the cake was going to be either pink or blue on the inside. So he told me and Kiara which day we needed to go and pick up the cake. He paid for it and everything. So on the day that Kiara went to pick up the cake, I went and bought a 3-pack of gray onesies because I knew I kind of wanted to take a picture, and I didn't know if I wanted to do like a black and white picture and then do the reveal for our immediate family, and that's what I ended up doing. So I went and bought some gray onesies just because that's gender neutral, and Kiara went and picked up the cake. So once he got home, we did our own personal gender reveal in the kitchen at our house. Okay, do you have a preference?
Girl.
You want a girl?
Yes.
I think it's a girl.
I hope it's a girl, please.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Cause what?
Boys are weird.
All right, you ready?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Thomas called it.
He did.
Thomas called it.
He did.
So you just gotta make your boy not be weird.
It's a boy. It's another me.
Yep.
It's another me, man.
It's okay. You gotta raise it not to be weird.
It's
Wow.
another me.
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Your family seem to only have boys.
This is the only thing we can have. It's a boy.
So as you can see, we are having a boy, and I don't know, we both kind of had mixed feelings like when we saw that the blue was on the inside of the cake, because I had a feeling that I was carrying a girl and he wanted a girl. We both, of course, wanted just a healthy baby, but if you asked our preferences, that's what we said in the video. So we did kind of have mixed emotions at the time, but as soon as we turned the video off and we started talking, we actually got really excited about having a boy. And I think it was really special because my brother and his wife are having a girl. So no matter what, we are gonna feel like we got the best of both worlds, because obviously we're going to raise our children together. So that was, super special that my brother wanted to do that for us, and I like how Kiara and I had our intimate moment to find out what we were having. So a couple weeks after that, we did go in for our 12-week appointment. Our doctor's office didn't mind if we recorded anything that was going on while we were there. So we did get this one cute video of the baby actually moving during the ultrasound.
Maybe.
He's moving.
So that was really fun to see, and we were just getting more excited as the weeks were going on. It still felt kind of surreal to me because growing a human is crazy. Like, I still can't wrap my brain around it. But anyway, we were super excited. We went to our 12-week ultrasound, and everything was looking like it was supposed to look, so we were happy about that. And then a few weeks later, I went to my brother and his wife's baby shower. Care had to go out of town that weekend, so my parents came to my house, and we drove to the baby shower, which was, I think, about 2 hours from my house. So I just rode with them since Care wasn't able to make it. But we went to their baby shower and showered their baby with gifts and love, and we played lots of games, and we just really had a good time. But I was super excited to see them because we don't see each other too often. We live about 5 hours away. So yeah, it was a good time. So moving forward, we went to our 20-week appointment, which was the anatomy scan, and we got some really good pictures from the ultrasound. I don't know if my doctor did like 3D or 4D pictures or what, but we were able to catch a picture of the baby sucking his thumb, and then the pictures of his face were really, really defined. So from the ultrasound picture, I felt like he was gonna look exactly like my brother. He had like a head shaped like Care, but his facial features in the ultrasound picture looked exactly like my brother when he was a baby. So I thought that was so cute. So moving along, a few weeks after that, my niece was born. I wasn't able to go. It was my plan to go initially, and then I found out that I was pregnant and I did not want to be in the car for 5 hours. But my parents were there, and they kept me posted with lots of pictures and lots of updates of the whole process, and she is just the cutest thing ever. I really wish I could have been there, but like I said, that's a long way to travel when you are headed towards the end of the second trimester of your pregnancy. So yeah, I stayed updated. So this was about, like I mentioned, towards the end of the second trimesters. So right at that point was where I started wanting to find a place for this baby to call his own inside my house. So you can tell that my background kind of changed in my videos between last year and now. I had to move my desk out of the room that I had it in, my office, and we turned that into a nursery, and we had like a treadmill that we moved out. We just basically rearranged our house because I wanted to make sure the baby has a space for himself. Like, I know we're not gonna, put him in there initially. I don't know. I wanted him to have a room. So he has his own room in our house, and we moved a lot of stuff around, put a lot of stuff outside in Care's man cave. We started with a blank slate. We didn't put anything on the walls at this point. We didn't have anything for the baby except for 3 onesies that Care bought, which were University of Miami onesies because that's his football team. But other than that, we hadn't bought anything yet, but we still had time. So during this whole trimester, I don't think I really had many symptoms. Care was still eating his bowl of Frosted Flakes every single morning. And like I mentioned, Care never ate cereal prior to this whole ordeal. So he was still eating his Frosted Flakes every day. And I found out somewhere towards the middle of this trimester that I had gestational hypertension, which is just high blood pressure due to being pregnant or during your pregnancy. So I ended up being put on a blood pressure medication. And I had already been on a baby aspirin regimen just because of my age. I was 35 at the time. And the doctor just wanted to monitor my blood pressure throughout the whole thing, just to make sure that I wasn't at risk for preeclampsia or anything like that. So I did have to get put on blood pressure medication in addition to baby aspirin. And I was still taking my prenatal vitamins, but something happened in between the first trimester and the second trimester where I could not swallow like pills. So I showed you guys in the last video the prenatal vitamin that I was taking. I was no longer taking this in the second trimester. I got the gummy version from the same brand, where you take 2 gummies per day. And I know that gummy vitamins aren't as good as the pill version, but I could not swallow pills. It would get stuck in my throat every single time. And I've never had a problem swallowing pills until the second trimester. And it didn't make me nauseous or anything. I just would get stuck in my throat. I don't know what that was about. So I switched to the gummy prenatal vitamins, and I was taking the blood pressure medicine and the aspirin regimen. So something else that happened during this trimester was that every time I passed the McDonald's, I had to stop. I don't know if it was a craving or if I just didn't have the energy or want to get into the kitchen to make like lunch or dinner, but my order was a daily double with the extra pickles, a medium fry, and a Dr. Pepper. And like I said, I don't know if it was a craving because I was already eating this meal prior to pregnancy, but it wasn't like all the time. I would eat this at least every Friday. I didn't have it much during the week because I worked from home and I don't typically leave the house for lunch, and then by the time dinner rolls around, I'm just eating whatever's in there. But every Friday, pretty much throughout the whole second trimester, I had the daily double, extra pickles, medium fry, and a Dr. Pepper. So that was just my go-to. Like I said, I don't know if it was a craving or not, but that was my go-to meal throughout the whole time. And another thing that happened during this trimester was that I started to have heartburn and acid reflux. It wasn't terrible, but it was different from whatever I had in the first trimester. I ended up searching to see if Tums were safe to take, and they were. So I like to joke that this baby was built off of McDonald's fries and Tums. And what else? Oh, one more thing that happened. I started to have wrist pain in my right wrist, and it felt like, you know, if you go to sleep on your hand like this or maybe like this, and it just, I don't know, it was just pain in my wrist. And I talked to my doctor about it, and they said that a lot of times pregnant women have like tendon issues or ligament issues. So we just wrote it off as that, and I was just using like a topical lidocaine or some type of pain cream to rub, and that usually made it feel better. But it was very, very painful, and it stayed that way the whole time. That's all I can think of as far as symptoms go for the second trimester. As far as my mental health, I think everything was fine. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better mental situation throughout this whole process. So I was still myself. I was a little bit more tired than usual, but I was able to keep up with things at work. I was able to keep up with most things at home, you know, laundry piled up here and there, dishes piled up here and there, but that's what my husband is for. So he took care of all the things that I wasn't able to or didn't feel like doing, and he was wonderful throughout this whole thing. I only remember crying one time, and I cried that time because I was trying to swallow a pill and it got stuck, and I started choking, and Kier got scared, and he didn't yell at me, but he was a little louder than usual, and I started crying. And there was no reason for me to cry in that moment. Like I said, he wasn't yelling at me. He was just a little louder than usual because he was scared and he had his back turned and he didn't know what was going on, and I was choking. Other than that, I don't remember crying. That's all I can think about. I did go to lunch with one of my oldest friends, and she got me, I have it right here. She got me this book. It's called Heading Home with Your Newborn, as a gift after I told her that I was expecting, and I'm very grateful for this. I did read most of it prior to having the baby, and Care also listened to the audiobook of it. So this was very thoughtful of her. And I told my family, I think in July, and they were shocked because I never mentioned whether I wanted to have children or not, and my family is not the type of family to pry. So they were shocked, but very, very excited, especially because they're gonna have 2 babies to love on. So yeah, that is all I can think of in the second trimester. So be sure to come back for the next video because I'll be talking about the baby shower and getting the baby's room together. That's all for this video. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and click the link on your screen right now for more Well Balanced Wallet content. See you there.